Hey, it must be Wednesday live if you're watching live at least. And this is Thrive. Hey, it's Thrive and it's live, Jason.
We got the rhyming, man. It kicks in there, but we are so excited to be on live today, chatting with a guest that we will introduce you to here in a little bit. But you know how me and Rob do. We have a little banter and chatting about what's happening with the week, and we usually kick into some sports. So what do we got, Rob?
We got to talk. I mean, everybody's talking about the draft. We
Yes.
last couple of weeks we've talked about golf. And by the way, just before we get on to the draft today, have you been out and done any golf yet? Have you golfed?
No, I Colorado. We had 8 inches of snow over the weekend, but it was gone on Sunday, so we haven't been out there yet. But hey, we do have some really cool announcements and things that we can talk about regarding the draft and Abundant TV, 24 Media, Coastal Media, everything within our network, right?
It's exciting. Next year, we will be broadcasting live from the NFL draft. We'll be in Wisconsin for the
Yes.
NFL draft. Super excited about that. It's going to be a neat time. And of course, for some of you that are watching, of course, on Abundant TV, you've noticed the stuff in the on-demand section from 24 Media. 24 Media is a spinoff company that we own that handles a lot of sports related stuff besides that your marketing needs if you're a small business. So but we're super excited. We will be there 2025. We will be in Green Bay to do the draft. What do you think about now when we were kids, Jason,
Mhm.
the draft was in one location. It was in New York City. What do you
Yes, it
think about
was.
this moving it around?
I like it, but it still takes away from the nostalgia of previous years when they had it in New York. So I think there's some good things and some bad things about it. It's nice that it's being spread around, but Green Bay, the history there is great. I don't necessarily know if it's the best city for a draft, but I love Green Bay and what they do. Especially my Broncos beat them in the Super Bowl in '98. So yeah, that was our first Super Bowl. So yeah, I got a lot of love for Green Bay because they gave us that. Sorry, Green
Well,
Bay.
that
Yes.
Terrell Davis and John Elway helped a
Yes.
little bit,
Very, very
but
true. But one
but
thing with the 24 Media side that Rob's not letting it's one of 3 streaming services that the NFL has actually allowed to be able to do this. And so we are very grateful to have that opportunity and be able to broadcast live during the NFL draft next year.
yes, and we're excited about that. A lot of great things going on, and we think it's going to be an amazing time. If you're interested, of course, get a hold of Jason. He'll help you walk you through the process of what it is to be a sponsor, or an underwriter, or a name sponsor. Hey,
Yes.
if you are a main company, if you're a nationwide company, and you're looking for something like that, we would love to talk to you about that and get a chance to do that. And the other thing that I have a dream in my life, Jason, and it's something I don't share with a lot of people. I get a chance to do this every once in a while here locally. Is I get to do sports radio. I
I
would
know, right?
love, I would love to do sports radio. I could do that. I could so.
Yeah,
I could.
I love it as well.
I listen to some podcasts from home in Seattle. And actually I know some of the guys that do work on 710
Mhm.
Seattle sports, and those guys are fantastic, and of course they're super talented, much more at that side of radio than I could ever be. And but no, it's fun, and I'm excited about it. What we have a cool guest today,
We
and this is
do,
a
we
guy
do.
that I have met over the last couple of weeks,
Mhm.
and I'm always fascinated. He's kind of that cool, almost James Bond feel. Like he does
Right, exactly.
what he does is he
He's got
leans
that
back. I
mystique.
can't
When you
do it
see it,
because
you'll
I'll
get it.
I'll lean right out of frame. He leans back and goes, "Yeah, I did that one time," and you're like, you believe him. And it's like he doesn't. You don't know what it is he's done. He's done. I did that. I was there. We were talking about football, and he goes, "Yeah, I took that picture." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
he's an incredible guy, and just the more that you talk to him, the more that just his story and his background is just incredible, and it's going to be super cool chatting with him today. But my relationship with Don DeWay, which is our guest today, I've built this relationship over the last few months with him in terms of just connecting in business, and we get into Thrive right now. Don is the epitome of Thrive. This has been his life. This is what he does. Let's bring him up here and let's get him out here, Rob. Don is just an incredible guy. See, even he's got the persona of this. The dark hair and just that mystique look. He kicks back there like Rob says, and just an
"See,
incredible
he's
guy.
chilling." He's like,
Don,
I'm
love to have you
done.
on the show.
Well, I
Tell
appreciate
everybody
that.
about yourself.
You need to be telling my kids all that, right? They just
Well,
I'm
Don's been
honored.
on. You've been on Fox Business. You've been on multiple other radio and TV channels, and just your expertise is man, it's incredible.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself. Tell us a little bit about the Profit Zone. Kind of maybe your history a little bit here.
Yeah, sure. So, I grew up in a small town in Northwest Iowa. My dad practiced law. My mom was a brilliant and wonderful housekeeper and accomplished in her own way. And for my part, dad wanted me to practice law with him, and that just wasn't my gig, right?
Mhm.
So, kind of an, entrepreneur from the time I was a child. And when I was in college doing a lot of really fun stuff with a bunch of friends, we were doing extremely well. And then when I left college, graduated, went to work in the financial services industry.
Okay.
And, for the
You did
most
that. You
part,
did that for a while, right?
yeah, I did it for about 40 years. That's when you're supposed to say, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
yeah,
Don.
yeah. Wait, they still got
And I
dark
will
hair.
tell you,
I have more gray hair than you.
I'm shocked that I don't have more gray hairs because that industry did everything it could to give me a lot of gray hairs. But I survived that. Not so many years ago, I guess about 10 years ago, I had a broker dealer, two registered investment advisory firms, two tax and accounting firms, public finance, municipal bond underwriting firm, pension design administration, insurance agencies, and a private equity firm that we built right here in Des Moines, Iowa.
Wow.
And with clients all over the country and stuff. And that worked really, really well until 2008. Didn't work so well at that point and
Hmm.
really got a little bit tired of it. So at that point, I sold all that off and started the Profit Zone.
That is cool. Yeah, that's what we'll get into in the Profit Zone. But thinking about back to your past there, we were chatting about some sports. Me and you always talk about sports as well, especially
Oh, yeah.
Iowa sports, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the
So
most exciting thing in Iowa sports is Caitlin Clark.
exactly right. We were
Right?
just talking about her a couple weeks ago.
I mean, I'm
She's from
shocked
Des
because I
Moines.
talk to clients and people all over the country every single day,
Hmm.
and they want to talk about Caitlin Clark, and I'm like happy to do so. I mean, she grew up just a couple miles from where I sit right now. She went to Dowling High School in West Des Moines,
Hmm.
and she was amazing. I mean, from a very young age. I mean, just
Hmm.
very inspiring. I get goosebumps when I watch her play, and
Yes.
and just I just marvel at not only her ability in the court, but the way she carries herself in the media and everything. I mean, she's just beyond belief in everything, and it's going to be really interesting now that she goes to the WNBA. What that's going to look like.
Yeah, completely.
Well,
Yeah, her.
did you guys see this morning? She signed a endorsement deal with Nike for $28 million.
Perfect. Good for her. That is amazing.
Well, I mean,
That is so cool.
yeah,
Mhm.
she's literally changed this
Mhm.
entire sport. I mean, that's
Oh,
what
completely.
it's, and for that matter, women's sports in general. I mean, she's had more impact than anybody I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, seeing the viewerships for the championship game and even the NBA or the WNBA draft this year, the numbers skyrocketed, which is incredible. Just how transformative she is. So
Yeah,
yeah,
not by just a little bit, but I
Mhm.
mean, everywhere she goes, magic happens, she gets as much, if not more, attention than a lot of people in the NBA, maybe
Yes.
any of them,
Yeah,
frankly.
she's a man. For her to get that endorsement, that is incredible. I am so proud and happy to see
Yeah.
that change. So that's really cool. So, anyways, let's get back into the Profit Zone here. So,
Okay.
what is the Profit Zone?
So
Because my moniker is the Profitable Salesman. I think that's probably why we connected on some things. But
right.
tell me about it.
Yeah, so the Profit Zone, very simply, and when I was in the investment business, especially when we did our private equity type stuff, I mean, we always look for the extraordinary, something amazing that's going to change everything, right? Because why work with anything else other than that? Everything in your life should be transformational, in career and business, and you just have to bring the very best to what people want and need most at any given time. It all starts with the man upstairs, but
Completely.
and so, but what I do now is similar to what I used to do when I owned the
Mhm.
financial services firms and so forth. But what it does is it seeks incredible talent, tools, resources, technologies. These inventors and founders and so forth, they spend 5, 10, 15, 20 years inventing something, perfecting it, and then it's time to go to market. And
Mhm.
that's a very different skill set, right? So oftentimes they spend and waste a ton of money on young salespeople. No offense, we were all there at one point.
Yep.
People that don't know a lot of people that don't speak the language of business.
Mhm.
And again, in deference to people that do a lot of work in marketing and so forth, they spend a lot of money and frankly waste a lot of money in a lot of areas that just don't produce much in tangible results.
Mhm.
And then through that process, they end up selling off equity. They start borrowing more capital from people. And pretty soon they're in a dark place.
Yeah.
So what I do is I come in, I learn about what they do, and these things find me after all those years of raising stuff. I mean, literally almost every day somebody's bringing me something. But my
Yes.
role is not necessarily to help raise capital anymore. That's really not what I do. What I do is I help them prevent the urge to take on a lot of debt or sell off equity in their company. And instead, I connect them, I listen to their story, perfect that story. And most importantly, what I do is connect them with people that already reside in the C suite, people that are in
Awesome.
the distribution channels. I have connections literally all over the country. And this is the fun part. So instead of them having to take the stairs to the C suite, if you will, or the decision makers and knock on the door that'll never open, what I do is I bring the people that are already connected, already in those places. We learn about each other, talk about what they do, we find that message, and then instead of them taking the stairs, we jump in the express elevator with the people that are already there, go straight to the top with a warm introduction and
Mhm.
endorsement, and tell the right story to the right people at the right time to make things happen. And that saves a lot of time, energy, and money to get there to where they need to be.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's something that we've garnered in our relationships is the connections and the networks, just getting people to the right people that need to succeed. And it's just been incredible to watch and be a part of and just learn from you, Don. I really appreciate everything that you've helped me with in our discussions. But with our show being Thrive, as you guys can see, Don is the epitome of Thrive. Like this has been his life. Building up his investment company to the struggles in '08, rebuilding into the profit zone. Like you see those peaks and valleys, and Thrive has been just a moniker of everything that he's done in his life. So, Don, we're going to throw the QR code up here in a minute, so people can check out Thrive. But who do you really like? Who would be your ideal person that you want to reach out to you?
Well, I think there's two.
Hmm.
First and foremost, I'm always looking for people to bring opportunity and abundance into their lives. And everybody needs to know this is everybody knows somebody that needs something
Hmm.
and they want the very best of what they need most. And so what I strive to do is find those amazing talent tools, resources, technologies, whatever it is. And I'm always looking for people, whether they know it or not, everybody has the kind of connections that somebody else needs.
Hmm.
And so, standing in the breach between these people that have these incredible talent tools, resources, technologies, and everybody needs them, there's a great opportunity to do well by doing good. And
I
that's
love
the
that.
fun part, right?
Yeah, I
And
love that
so
one.
I give opportunity to people as connectors.
Hmm.
Those people know somebody, or they know somebody that knows somebody that needs some of the stuff that we have. And like I said, a lot of this is absolutely astonishing technologies, or blue ocean type stuff.
Hmm.
And so my job is to help them understand those things, really evaluate where they have connections and so forth that they can make. And basically, I take it from there. My team and I, and the companies that whoever we're working with in that particular instance, our job is to help facilitate all that. So they really don't need to do much other than learn what we do, how we do it, explore some of these opportunities, and ultimately, we talk about where and who and how we're going to connect with people that need this to do that good and do well by doing good. So we facilitate the whole process. So it's opportunities, sure, but
Hmm.
it's most importantly people that are looking for new ways to generate recurring income and do
Hmm.
so not by selling things to people, but by connecting them with things that they really need that are going to change their lives.
Yeah, in a lot of our discussions, the goal of a lot of this is transformation for people. And like you talk about those blue ocean products, whatever that is, the talent tools, resources, it's just really incredible. So if you do have, something that you're working on that can be this, highly recommend you checking out the Profit Zone there. The QR code's on the screen. We can chat with Don, get on a call, and do that. Don, what are some things that you are currently working on now that you might want to share to the audience?
Sure. I mean, there's some amazing things in healthcare, amazing things in technology. I tell you, the thing that I really love is I'm starting to work with and acquire companies in coaching and
Mhm.
mentoring. And I discovered this myself. Somebody introduced me to a company in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'm like, yeah, I'll listen to everything, right? So, and then I experienced what they do, and I was absolutely astonished because what I looked at was in teaching people the art of coaching, especially in management. I mean, you can
Mhm.
use coaching in any aspect of your life, but
Completely agree.
this is flat out revolutionary to me because I grew up in a environment in Northwest Iowa. Uh, it was all command and control, right? You better get out there and do your work and don't
Mhm.
complain and just shut up and do it. And that worked a long time for me. And even when I brought it into my business, right? Now looking back, it's like, wow, I could have done so many things so much better than what I did had I had these skills. And I
Mhm.
treated my employees extremely well, paid them more than anybody was going to pay them, gave them the best benefits possible, gave them life experiences that were fantastic. But in the end, I didn't spend enough time getting to know them on a personal level, and I was too busy solving problems to really dive into the deep and build the relationships where they felt heard, understood, and respected.
Got it.
And um, when you read Gallup and Deloitte and all that, what they say is the key to this is coaching. You have to have one deep, meaningful
Mhm.
conversation with every employee, and frankly,
Yes.
I think every client, everybody you have. You have this opportunity to do some amazing things and build a depth of relationships. But
Mhm.
if you have this art of coaching, which is not telling people what to do, but bringing that out of them, right? So helping them to do the things they need to do without telling them what to do. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of faith-based programs that I've gotten deeply involved with too, that help people to find their true purpose in alignment with God's will. And
Completely.
that's really amazing, right?
Mhm.
Because the light goes on, and it's like, what have we been doing all these years? There's a better life out there. So, I mean, that's probably the most exciting stuff I work with right now. But
Yeah,
again,
yeah. The coaching side of it, I've been in the coaching side for most of my career, in either coaching or hiring coaches. The startup entrepreneurs, I highly recommend getting a coach to walk you through that process. You look at elite level athletes, where we talk about at the beginning of the show all the time. Elite level athletes have coaches. They're the best in their game, but they still have coaches,
well, yeah,
and it just makes sense, right, Don?
of course. I mean, what a real good coach does, I believe, is help you realize things about yourself. And I think
Mhm.
there's a whole bunch of people in this world that walk around that don't really understand their true, purpose in life in alignment with God's will. Alignment is a big word. I think they don't understand what that is, and so they're frustrated with life. They don't understand why they're not feeling the peace and fulfillment that they always sought, and they're looking in the wrong place. But I digress. The biggest thing is helping them understand who they are. And we talked about, for example, also the Why Institute,
Mhm.
YOS. So everybody's heard of Simon Sinek, right? The
Mhm.
most watched TED
Most
Talk
watched TED Talk out there. Yeah.
of
Mhm.
all time. Over 100 million people have watched that. And I'll tell you what, I'll bet you not 1% of those people ever actually found their why after they listened to that. It's
Mhm.
aspirational. It sounds great, but they never found it. So this amazing guy in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Gary Sanchez, who was a dentist his whole life, but he was really enamored and a really good dentist, I might add, very
Mhm.
successful. But he really dove in deep, and he realized that people were not understanding their why, but not only that, they weren't understanding their how and their what. What is
Mhm.
their purpose, right? And I've just had a great deal of joy working with that. I think I've shared that maybe with both of
You
you here.
have, yeah, you have.
And it hits you, it just pegs you immediately. I mean, it's 4,000 question bank that in a few minutes you answer about 35 questions, and everybody walks out of there stunned because it's like that is exactly who I am.
Yes.
And then trying to link that to godly principles and to his purpose and his will. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a game changer.
Getting the results in that, when you started talking to me about the YOS system, Y Institute, um, I did the survey, did it quickly. We got on a call actually with Gary Sanchez, and I've done a lot of other profile assessments, whether it's Briggs Myers, DISC assessment, all of these different things, but those tell you your what, they don't tell you your why. And your why is more important to me, especially as entrepreneurs are growing their businesses. We always try to dig down into the why, right? Why did you start this? Why do you do that? And this gets down to the nitty gritty. It gets down to the dirt very quickly in doing that. It's really, really incredible.
Yeah, being in alignment with your why. I mean, you ask people what their why is, and they'll say something like, well, to be a great father. Well, what does that exactly mean?
Mhm.
Right. And so the why is what you carry within you that is screaming to get out
Mhm.
and to be placed in the world to do some amazing stuff. And I've just was really, again, this whole coaching, initiative that I have and so forth is it's skill sets that you can use at home, at your church, in organizations, in business, everywhere you go. When I first had my exposure to this, and I'm talking about the training and coaching, I walked out of there a different man.
Yeah.
I walked out of there with a whole different perspective about what management and development of people and all that stuff. It changed everything for me.
Mhm.
And everybody thousands of people we've taken through this. By the way, we do test drives for people to come in and experience a couple hours of it, which is really
Mhm.
cool.
That is
But
really cool. Yeah.
yeah, when they experience this, they walk out of this and it's like, this is incredible. What's the next step? How do I master this and take it into the world?
Mhm.
So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit excited about that,
Oh
but
no, you're fine.
you
I'm
know,
super excited about it. And actually, one thing that we're talking about, with one of our guests that we had a few weeks ago, Craig and Desiree Bouye with the Ignite Christian Business Conference. I know you're going to be there, Don, for that as well. We're actually talking about being able to share some of this Y Institute and YOS stuff with the entire audience with that. And
yep.
so, I'll test Rob here if we can pull up a QR code at some point so people can check out the Ignite
Oh, the
conference.
Ignite. No,
Yeah.
no, you can't do that to
Three
me.
on the
That's not
spot,
the way the
see?
game's played. No, we don't do that. Hey, Don, I want to ask you something because we're living in a time, and of course with your economic background and stuff, there might be an entrepreneur out there watching right now, and he's saying, "Do I really want to start a company right now?" Give everyone out there your advice. Is this a good time to start a new business?
That's a great question. So, first and foremost, if you've got a passion to do something and you believe it's going to have a big impact on a lot of people's lives, it's always a good time to start a business, right?
Yes.
Now, and sometimes in the darkest times when the economy's terrible and everything, I mean, opportunity presents itself. There's a lot of people out there in this world right now that are feeling a lot of pain, and there's a lot of business owners that are
Mhm.
really frustrated. There's a lot of stuff going on in Washington and in the world, and we don't need to get into all that. We'd have to go, for several hours on
That's a
that.
whole nother show. Yeah.
But times like these present great opportunities to step in where kind of run towards the fire and make things happen. So yes, provided for there's a good plan, right? I mean, it's like good job.
You
Uh,
got it up there. See?
I love it. So in situations like that, I mean, again, it is really important to find mentors and coaches, that have been there, done that. I've pretty much seen everything, having worked with hundreds and hundreds of companies through the years, funding them and helping them develop strategies and make, opening doors for them and so forth. That is pure joy to me. And that's a skill set, by the way, that everybody can do.
Mhm.
And I'll teach you how, and
Yeah.
I'll show you the way to do that. But um, to answer that question is you must save yourself all the time, energy, and money that's wasted in that process and get into systems and processes and people, whoever it is,
Mhm.
that has been there, done that, so that they'll lead you quickly and efficiently to where you want to be. And
Yeah.
that's my joy. So I mean, I work with startups and I work with companies that are larger. I work with everything because it is absolute pure joy. What gets me up in the morning and gets me running hard is I know I'm going to help people. Today,
Yes.
good things are going to happen every single day, and that is super super fun.
And that's been the incredible part about our relationship, and just learning our hearts, and seeing how we have the same heart to help people, to serve, right? We're servant leaders, and you've been to the peak of the mountain, and just seen what that looks like, and those connections, and chatting with Don. you get to have those experiences that he's had and that connection and that network. Like you gracefully put it where you're taking them on the elevator up to that level where they need to be so that you can give them a handshake to the right person. And so the profit zone, everything else, it is just an amazing thing with that. Rob, great that you threw up the Ignite conference on there, because Don will be there. That's going to be in Council Bluffs, Iowa, just to let you all know. May 15th and May 16th and 17th of next month. Love to have you there. Don's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Rob's going to be there. We have a full suite of people that are going to be there. If you're a startup entrepreneur, if you had a business thriving and growing, everybody's welcome. There are going to be some really cool things there. But with the Profit Zone again, Don, is this the best way for people to reach out to you, is checking out their website?
You know what, that, or I would just say even my telephone number.
Got it.
Which is 515-480-9861, or text me or call me. And, I'm always going to lead you to whoever can help you, whether that be me or you guys or whomever, right? It's just always about doing well by doing good.
Give that number one more time, Don.
Sure thing. 515-480-9861.
And think about this, folks. What type of guy would give out their phone number on air like this if he doesn't have the heart to help people? That's incredible and trusting, and that's the type of guy that Don is. It's just he has a heart to serve and help people succeed in their businesses. So, Don, don't be surprised if your phone starts blowing up.
Well, I hope so. And
I was thinking of texting him during the
we'll start giving you a hard time, but is there anything else that you want to go over, Don, before we kind of close out here in the next few minutes?
Yeah. I would just say, wherever you are, I've been there, from humble beginnings to meteoric success to abject failure to recovery through, and thank God, because everybody's going to have their dark times in business. It's not always going to be, bowl of cherries, as they say. And so, I spend a lot of my time too working with entrepreneurs and helping them see, their purpose in God's will, and also giving them hope and peace and vision for the future, because it can be tough. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it, but be an entrepreneur, but it's not easy. And so we got to stick together. We got to share. We've got to support. We've got to encourage. And I spend a lot of my time just helping people, right?
Mm-hmm.
For nothing, just do good in their lives.
I love that.
I love that.
Yeah, love that. It's all about
one thing, Don, before we go. What's the one thing you wake up in the morning and you go, I want to accomplish this? What is the one thing every day that you want to accomplish?
Yeah, wow. I would say, as kind of broad as it is, from my first waking moments, I'm thinking about everybody I'm working with. In the morning I pray, in the evening I have long prayers, just sit in silence and say, thanks for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for the experiences and knowledge he's given me. And ultimately thinking about what's next for those people. How can I help them to see the things they're not seeing, understand the things they're not understanding, and think, say, and do exactly what they need to think, say, and do to make great things, not only in their lives, but in the lives of everybody they touch. So that's kind of where I start and end my day, and ultimately throughout the day.
Thank you, Donna. So cool. Hey, man, we appreciate you so much for being with us. Hey, Jason, we've come to another end. It is.
Yes, we're done.
This is like episode number 5. I think we're getting this. Hey, listen, we want you to go out, share this with your friends, spend your day doing what you do, and thrive